Andrew, we didn't know that you had transcended your body.
Well, I was born again of the spirit, and so I left the body behind.
Well, at least we can still hear you somehow.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see.
Must be some trick of the internet.
You can try my other computer too. So you guys just continue. I'm gonna try my other computer.
Okay.
And Sandra can be seen much more. I like the painting in the background. That's very nice.
Yeah, she had to move to a different room because of noise.
Construction, and I have air conditioning in my bedroom, so this is nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's Southern California for you.
Yeah, it was 90 today. Hello.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
We had a lot of 90 days. We had like over 60 days this year of 90 plus.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a record, I think. But now it's back in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah. You didn't send me your email,
I
Kathleen, for the book.
I'll do it.
I got about 60 more pages, but I'm going through it quickly. So.
Well, don't rush,
Well,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, you're just a copy without the little feet on it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah. I'll send it in an Amazon cardboard thing. You might want to save that to pass on to someone else because they're not making those cardboard things anymore.
Oh.
And it protects the book.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I've been done with Amrit Leia 3 for a couple of weeks, and I could pass it on to somebody else. It's a little worn. That's why I wanted to buy a new one, but this one, it's just a little bit worn. If somebody's interested in it, I can send it to them.
Okay. Yeah, I passed mine on to Trish. I think she has it.
Yeah, I do. And I'm not finished.
Yeah, it takes a little while to absorb. There's a lot of, what do you call it, density or something in there.
Yeah.
Well, plus I've been so busy fixing up this house. So.
Yeah, I read it real slow.
John?
Yes.
Actually, this was happened on last Thursday night, around 2 to 3 a.m. So there was a conversation with one of the friend on Facebook. So during that conversation, suddenly this understanding happened. Like the very moment, the experience, like the thoughts, the sensations happening on the awareness. So whatever, like even space is being experienced in the awareness. Like everything is appearing on the awareness. So every time, like it was taken like whatever the sensation is coming, so that is taken as I. Every thought appearing, every experience is appearing. So that, like there was a belief that I am that experience. So then suddenly somehow that understanding came that I am that experience is illusion. This appearance is just illusion on awareness. Even the very moment this talk is happening on top of awareness. So that's it. So yeah, there was urge, desire to tell this at the very moment, but another thought to came, let's validate this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is, everything that you're not body, and every experience that you have through the body form, the body knowledge, all the body concepts, absolutely illusion. So like you said, this conversation all of everything that's ever gone on, once you click with a body and you said, oh, this is me, then you looked at the world through the body-based perspective, but you're not body. So everything that's happened with this belief in body is false. Nothing has happened because the formlessness has never done anything. This belief in being a body form has caused all of this lifespan and birth and movement and desires, and then belief in mind, because all of that. But prior to beingness, there was nothing. And yet you were there because this beingness appeared to that you are, but you didn't know anything other or that you were. Just suddenly, I exist. And that created all of this. The belief in being a body has created all the conceptual, as Maharaj says, that bubble of illusion, the circle of illusion. And once you're out of the circle of illusion, you say, oh, so that I have nothing to do at all with any of the body-based elements. The body-based concepts, they don't apply. Body-based knowledge, any knowledge that I used with this body was in the illusion. So it's illusory knowledge. It has to be given up.
You know, all this suffering is happening because of believing in the illusion.
Yes.
That illusion that I am the body. You know, like this sexual urge was happening because there is a belief that I am the body. There is a belief that I am male. When that belief is seen in that very moment, it's subsided. Not
Yes.
subsided, it's done.
It's finished. That's correct. You know, I am not body. I was not body. I'm not going to remain the body. Brahman, Atman, Paramatman, God, Master are labels to that you are that doesn't need a label. Invisible, anonymous, unidentified identity that never clicked with the body. The appearance of clicking with the body produced an illusory world. None of that was true. Now you know yourself, and yet now you can use the body form and go out and play in the world, because as long as the body instrument is here, why not?
Yeah, that's what mean, like you say, do the dance, but don't take the touch.
Exactly. Yes, yes.
So simple, na? So simple, but somehow, you know, from childhood, parents said, okay, you are the body, you are the body. You know,
Yes.
something happens, they point to body, you are. So same thing, like you say, whenever somebody appears, like that some person was taken as an individual, but actually that person is appearing on the beingness. If there is no beingness, then there is no experience of the person. If there
That's
is no
correct.
experience of space,
That's correct.
nothing.
Exactly.
So that happened, and actually next 1 or 2 days, like earlier there was a, you know, there is a pressure, you know, kind of stress on the body that, you know, always. Now that pressure, stress is no more. There is the clarity that this body is being experienced on this beingness or on real me.
Yes. Yes. And whenever the mind flow starts, because there's an I am somebody else that's being created, mantra allows you to remember, no, I'm refreshing my memories. I am not body. I am formless. All of the body-based experience and all of the body-based knowledge is not true. And mantra allows you to erase any concepts that may try to form slowly, silently, and permanently. Because you're not body. It's the reality. You know, Maharaj has told each and every one of us, you are not body. You are the invisible, anonymous, unidentified identity that identified itself once body has come, but is not a body. You're the formlessness in which all this is appearing, playing for a time, and then disappearing.
Yes, the same indivisible listener, the invisible talker. And that only, that form, this form both are.
Yes.
That's what you have been trying to refer, na? Always like, suddenly, don't know how to tell, but still, there is urge to tell you, but waited, 3-4 days, let it.
Yes. Yes.
Yours, on Ramakant Maharaj Dakshina.net, it mentioned that presence is talking through the God is talking through Ramakant Maharaj. So
Yes. Yes.
there is constant, pointer to submit to that God.
Yes.
Mr. John, just gratitude. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Jai Sadhguru.
Rami, that's so beautiful to hear what happened. So much joy, so much love.
e- e- how to say, like this joy, no need to go anywhere actually. So it just, it's like, seems like it's inherent nature.
Yes. Lightness. Very good.
Yeah. Generally, even whatever that earlier, used to feel that kind of joy when listening John or listening Maharaj, listening Devas or reading something, and I am that. It is just the pure experience of mind, unawareness. So it's another illusion, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Very good.
Yeah, you're no longer carrying around this dead body with all these illusory layers on top of this dead body that you're dragging around. And it's very light now.
That weight is gone. Like there was urge, like what will going to happen tomorrow? What should learn? What technology learn? Okay, let's do some MS in quantum computing. No. All that was happened, there was a belief in body, there was belief in like expectations, there was desires were true. So according to that, body was trying to act, like mind was trying to act.
Yes.
Then just, there was a belief that this is true.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing, is the holding on to the thought that the unreality is the reality, and the fear of letting go of the unreality because you believe that, well, I'm letting go of this reality that is not reality. The illusion appears so real that you don't want to give up this illusion for the reality because you truly believe the illusion. It's impressed on you. I am a body in a world. It's not true, but it's a hard thing to let go of this last kind of illusion.
How brutal, our parents, society. They
Well,
don't
remember,
know.
hold on, parents were your own selfless self.
That is the
All of
experience
that.
yeah.
Every time, this formlessness in form, believing itself to be separate, speaks from the point of view that the mind flow is giving from the identification with the form that's speaking. So the parent is believing, this is my child, but it's that selfless self deluded in that particular body form as this is myself. And here's another thing because I'm a thing. And it's just wearing all these different hats and then interacting with all these different forms, even though it's only one. And that's why the dream is a perfect example, because you lay down at night and exactly the same thing is happening. That's the reality is appearing before you. You are formlessly dreaming, projecting this dream world, and all the characters are interacting with themselves as separate individuals, but it's absolutely not true because it's coming from the dreamer's consciousness.
It's like we all perpetuate this false premise. So
Well, because the belief in the false is so impressed that there's the belief that something will be lost if I stop believing in the false. And that's the interesting thing, because you are not body, you were not body, you're not going to remain body. Your own selfless self, in the form of Sri Ramakant Maharaj and many, many, many masters, has said this and said you must have courage. Well, the courage is to let go of the illusion that is absolutely not true, but has been believed in for so long, because every day since you were wee high, it was impressed you're a body and this is your name and these are your actions and all this sort of stuff. But prior to beingness, there was no body, no mind, no world, nothing, 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 nothing. All of these experiences are body-based experiences, and you are not body. All of the knowledge you've acquired is body-based knowledge, and you are not body. So anything in that way is illusion. And yet, now, use the body while it's still available to play in this world.
Without getting attached to it.
Yeah, just know you can't die. You were never born. And you get to like jump into a puppet suit and play for a while. But nothing is, you're not taking the touch in anything. This body is bones, flesh, and blood. What's here? The thing that's here is that you are. That formless presence believing itself to be with form, but it's not with form. So once you know yourself as the formlessness in which all form is actually occurring, it appears, the something in the nothing, then enjoy. And enjoy yourself. You don't have to even enjoy the world. Enjoy yourself. Because now you know you exist. You see, you didn't know you existed before. You were all of everything without the sense of existence. Now you know you exist. Celebrate your existence. Dance the dance and don't take the touch.
John, I have a question about, you know, in the dream state, you know, you have this dream and you think while you're in it, there's a belief that it's real, you know, because it looks real from the, you don't know that you're dreaming. You know, when you're in the dream state, it looks like that's what's going on and you kind of take it seriously. And then you wake up. Okay. So then when you wake up, you realize, well, none of that existed, that it was all within the mind. It was all, you know, projection. But here's my question about the long dream, which is, you know, the day-to-day when you're supposedly, you know, this dream that's happening right now. My question has to do with, is there absolutely no significance? I catch the non-significance of the dream state, although sometimes you can learn things in the dream state. It can be helpful. But on this level, is it also like completely without significance? In other words,
From the point of view of the illusory character that wants it to be real, yes. From the point of view that all of this is just like a dream, and that once the body is no more, the dream is over, and the realization will be, as you're using the body in the dream, you get to understand yourself, oh, it's just a dream.
right.
And in the both are exactly the same. They both come from the one consciousness that's projecting the entire world and playing in it. It's only now the perspective of an individual that's within this dream consciousness that we call the waking consciousness that somehow believes that all of this is coming from them rather than they are an object in the consciousness, just as the object in the dream consciousness. And that illusory entity has no destiny. I guess, you know, its destiny is to that is born is destined to die. And the body is the only thing that's born, the 5 elemental goo, that you labeled yourself as this. But whatever that label of goo is doing, there's no doership, because all of this is the illusion. When the formlessness clicked with a body and said, oh, I'm this body. This is me. It's just not true. None of this has ever happened. From the point of view of the dreamer in your dream, as you mentioned, you're laying down at night, and like you said, after the dream, you know, oh, that appeared very real. It was very scary. Sometimes you have like very terrible, scary dreams. Sometimes, like you said, oh, you may learn something, but you can't really learn too much in a dream because you can't take anything with you. We talked about last week, if you're a billionaire in your dream and you have nice cars and all this, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, I wonder if that Ferrari's outside my house right now. No, you cannot take it with you.
No, but there are things you can, in the sense when you, in the dream state, you're able to get a perspective on, I don't know, on the character's life or something like that. Maybe you have a dream in which some issue that the character's been working on gets resolved in a certain way, so it carries over into this dream, so that you know, sometimes because of the dream state, you might get a change in perspective that affects this dream. So I think, and the same thing, analogy is like literature. When you see great Shakespearean drama or something, and you see why a particular character brings on disaster because of their egoic behavior, there's a kind of lesson there. And so, but I don't know, I guess it strikes me as so relevant somehow, at least to on the character level, that there's, you know, some resolution of the character's issues, which I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to figure out, well, what is the significance? I mean, if it's just a dream, my mind tends to dismiss it. Well, that's just a dream. But maybe there is some value. That's what I'm sort of struggling with. Is there any kind of value to the dream? I mean, any sort of like intrinsic, in other words, is it all just to be dismissed as, well, that's just a dream? Or is there some value to on some level? I'm not saying ultimately, but on some level, there's maybe it's just on the relative level.
Well, again, as you're using the body, now that you know that all of this is illusion, and now that you know that you are the formlessness, and that Kathleen never was,
Right.
then you can use the instrument of Kathleen, like you said, to experiment and do this and do that, and just don't take the touch of these things.
Right.
And what you described about characters realizing that egoistic things are wrong, and this is doing that, and this is doing another thing, that's what we call life. But that life, now, you're not living a life. You're simply this actress, Kathleen, whose life is being lived, that you, the formlessness, happen to be identified as, oh, I'm here. I'm moving around. I'm doing these various things. Of course, I can't actually be doing them, but it's nice.
Yeah.
And then the worshiping, you use this body to worship your selfless self. And that sense of presence, as you abandon this idea of Kathleen more and more and more to the sense of presence that you are, then Kathleen's life becomes a joy, because Kathleen is not worried about counting the days until she dies. She's here and using a body form in whatever way it may be happening in the moment, and not having to sit there and spend so much energy plotting and planning and thinking about a future, because Kathleen knows there is no future. It's the moment to moment to moment, whatever is happening and doing, but doing without fear and doing without thinking of myself as a singularity against the totality. No, I'm a part of the totality because all of this is arising on my spontaneous presence, and it's all absolutely illusion. So something happens, you don't take the touch of it because you're playing a role for a time. I think Maharaj talks about the person who plays the king in the play.
King
And
Lear.
King Lear. So the person who plays this King Lear in the play, all these people are bowing to this king all the time, and oh yes, sire, and all this. And then he goes and he gets on the bus and he heads back to his flat. Maharaj said flat, it's like apartment. He heads back to his apartment, but he doesn't expect the people to be bowing and all this such a thing in his apartment, nor does he think he can say off with their heads or whatever, because it's just a role for a time. So he's not so heavily, like, mentally impressed that he's the king. He gets to play the king for a time. So you get to play Kathleen for a time, but you're not Kathleen. You're the formlessness that's providing the show. So enjoy playing Kathleen, but don't allow it to go to your head, so to speak, because you don't have one.
I am an illusionary head.
Yes. So all of this, and see, when we look at ourselves as separate individuals, that we're giving something up to be the total, this is not correct. This is from the illusory identity point of view, saying that we now want to be the totality. But this is not correct. The unlimited has believed itself limited for a time. So that is the correct perspective, not this limitedness that somehow wants to give up its limitedness and become the totality. The totality believes itself to be the limitedness and then thinks it's some great thing to give up this limited identity and be the totality. But this limited identity is not true. It came along with the body, which you are not. The mind, ego, intellect, all these sort of things that think that it's separate came along with the body, which you are not. Through belief in body, you believe the thoughts about the body and the world, and they're not true.
Yeah, you're taking the play to be real instead of
Exactly.
just a play.
Exactly. You're wondering at the end of King Lear, if he gets his head chopped off, well, then what's next? Oh, there's no next. King Lear, it's finished.
Couldn't it be said that value, there is value in just being yourself, or being this, the self of self being itself? There's value to itself and being itself, and everything else can end up like leading to that awareness.
But once you lose this identification with mind, there won't be a self or any kind of formatting of concepts that can create a self. You won't have belief in body and mind anymore, so how does the space in the room behave more like the space in the room?
But it's the space is still valuable to itself in some way, isn't it?
But it wouldn't know this. There would be no value in the space that doesn't know that it's even there. And once this belief in body it falls off, it's lessened and lessened, then mind will no longer be able to send you information about the body and the world, because it won't make sense. It'll be like, okay, and it'll stop. See, right now, you're using a mind to try and, again, you're using the limitedness to try and become the totality. But all you have to do in the limited state is see that this limited Keith does not exist at all. And the mind will stop sending thoughts to this Keith character, because Keith will no longer believe he's Keith. Keith will believe that he's the selfless self, which he is, and that he is having this body of Keith to enjoy for the time. And the body is like a leased apartment. You don't know how long your lease is, and you have to give the apartment up at the end. But it's okay because you never were.
But if there's value,
There's no value. Where is the value? Prior to beingness,
but we were talking earlier about it's like fun to play with changing characters and seeing
only once you know you're not. See, you believe you're Keith that wants to become something and then change.
value. To me, that's a type of value.
Prior to beingness, where was the value?
But there's something there that's able to value the play.
Prior to beingness, there was no nothing. It's this belief in being a body that causes all of these thoughts about body-based concepts and body-based knowledge. Just take yourself right now for a moment and think that someone has come and you are formless and you're out of this body, Keith. And once you're out of this body, then speak about your experience.
Well, I might be enjoying myself. I don't know what it would be like.
And
Not being in a body.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why there's still belief in body. Because formlessly, you would know nothing. But invisible, anonymous, unidentified identity. What value is there in that? What value can be held onto? What can be called?
Freedom is a great value.
Freedom from what? The illusion?
Freedom from illusion to me is a value.
Okay, so that would be like saying, I'm going to free you from your blindness right now. You've been believing you're blind, Keith. You wear sunglasses, you keep your eyes closed, and you walk around stumbling through the world. And I'm going to now say, Keith, you're not blind. What have I done for you?
Well, why is it then that when I realize that I don't exist, I feel so much beauty and love and everything?
Because there's still a body form and still belief in an individuality. That there's a Keith that's experiencing these experiences. And like Maharaj says, okay, it's good to have nice experiences, good experiences, bad experiences. But in reality, you, the selfless self, are not even having the experience of Keith.
It's hard for me to conceive of there being no value whatsoever.
Well, again, value comes along with the concept of doership, that I'm able to do something to create value. Also, it comes along with the mind, because the mind, that's what mind does. Value and valueless.
But when
you're in the duality.
When I enter that egoless state, it's not anything that I do, and I realize that I'm not doing anything. I'm aware I'm not doing anything, but it feels better than I've ever felt before.
And that's okay. That's kind of probably as you're unzipping and walking out of Keith, you're feeling these wonderful feelings of being free of Keith.
And well, Nisargadatta himself said, when he's asked what it's like, he says, "I am bliss," and he says that it's like a solid. Sometimes he says it's like a solid something or other that's immovable and unchangeable. Presence or whatever.
This is that solid, that not going anywhere type feeling. And you could say this is bliss, but again, you need a body form to be able to feel this. And you need the belief in being a body in order to have this sensation of being a body. All body-based sensations, all body-based knowledge, and all body-based concepts are false, because the formlessness used the body and believed in being a body to have all these experiences.
He didn't say it that way when I read it. That he was bliss with a body. He was indicating that he was bliss without a body. It seemed.
Probably not. No, you cannot, because it's like saying that the space in the room can experience what's going on inside the space. It won't be able to do that unless it takes a body form.
I suppose it would depend on the context of what I was he was saying, the way he was saying.
Yeah, awareness of awareness is just you with presence, basically. That's awareness of awareness. Because presence then becomes a subtle object in your awareness, and that's something that can be seen. But then body is nowhere near anything, because presence is what clicked with the body, and you said I. And this subtle awareness of presence is probably as far back as you can go, because presence is there. It's very, very subtle, and it's what everything is coming from. So then you know, oh, but I know this presence. I'm prior to every experience, including the experience I exist. And then that's the prior to beingness. Knock, knock on the door. Who's there? Nobody's there. But somebody had to be there to say nobody's there. If really nobody was there, knock, knock on the door, there would be nothing. So you're not counting yourself. Just like if I asked you to walk down the hall and say, are there any people in the room? You walk in and you say the room is empty, but you were there to see and say that the room is empty. If you weren't there, there would be no empty room.
So that nothingness that I sometimes realize, well, this it's nothingness is what I am, and it's beyond anything I can possibly know. And then I notice bliss, but the bliss is like coming along because the body is there along with it or something.
Exactly. And again, you can cut everything you just said by one simple phrase. You are not body. You were not body. You're not going to remain the body. Body is not your identity. So anything that you use, any knowledge you gain using body, useless. Any concepts that you have with body are already on the foundation of the false, because you're not body. So mind, anything that comes through the mind is false. Anything that comes through ego, intellect, body knowledge, body experienced, all is false, because you are not body.
So
If I'm not body, who am I? Who am I is invisible, anonymous, unidentified identity.
So
Brahman, Atman, Paramatman, Master are names for that you are.
So I'm left bottoming out at nothing then, kind of. Would you? But it's a nothing, everything, nothing. It's like, but that's
everything is appearing on your spontaneous presence. The entire world is an illusion on your spontaneous presence. The presence, the I exist feeling, came to you that you existed, but you did not know you existed. After your existence, you know so many things. Prior to knowing your existence, there was nothing to know.
So it's bottoming out at unknowing, at not knowing anything.
The absence of everything, you could say. But even the absence of everything, there has to be someone to know that there's an absence. There has to be someone that knows there's something, and someone that knows there's nothing. But again, the easiest way, when we start getting all into this, it's too easy for the mind, when we believe we're a body and we have to dive down back into the illusory world of body-based concepts, it's very easy to get caught. So the easiest thing is just to say, oh, you're not body. And you think, oh, but I feel this bliss. Did I feel?
Somehow my mic cut out.
John, your voice is not audible.
If something cut out or something.
Yeah, we don't hear him. Kate, can you figure?
John, can you check whether your earphones are plugged in properly?
We can't hear you, John.
Oh, there we go. Now it's back. That's weird.
Okay, yeah, you cut out there for we could see your mouth moving, but we couldn't hear what you had to say.
All righty then. That's okay, because nothing was being said.
I think listening to you, and it just said, well, there's nothing happening, so.
Exactly. We didn't miss anything.
Blackouts are good, maybe.
But this stuff is powerful, you know?
Yeah,
But
maybe
yeah,
we blew a fuse there. We were getting a little too deep or something.
every time that you believe anything that has to do with the belief in being a body or body-based concepts or body-based knowledge, just discard it. It's not true. So why try to figure out the untruth? You know, imagine if you really truly believe that you were in your dream as something and you were actually acquiring things and you're actually getting towards that something that you really wanted to acquire, and you woke up. And you could say, well, there was a lot of value in my dream going towards this thing. I acquired so many things, but it was all illusion. And the same is here. When I know myself prior to beingness, I don't know. Knock, knock on the door. Anybody there? Nobody's there. But that nobody, the person that says nobody's there is there. And that's like this. Existence appeared to that existed that did not know its existence. You did not even know your own existence. After knowing existence, you know so many things. But all of these things are false because even this sense of existence that was not there appeared. Therefore, it's illusory because it's not eternal. If it appeared, then it disappears. And that's why Nisargadatta Maharaj says, your birth is the appearance of I am, the feeling I exist, and then, quote, death is nothing more than the feeling of existence no longer being there. But you're there. You feel the existence I exist, and then that feeling will go away. There will be no existence. When the feeling I exist comes, body, mind, ego, intellect, world, all these things, so many things are there, but none of it is reality. The only thing that is real is that you are, and that's it. And you can sense this subtle sense of presence and know that you're the knower of this. And when this presence is gone, because the presence is felt through body form, this knower of presence will also know nothing, the lack of presence, but there will be nothing to know. There's nothing. And I think as Nisargadatta, I'm sorry?
You don't get to take anything with you.
No.
Once the body goes, there's not, oh, the body's gone and I'm still here.
No. Because, see, that's the cool thing, too, is that if your mind is constantly believing that you're Kathleen and you're on your deathbed and you're actually dying, then these will be your projected, like the long dream will seem very, very long at the end. That's why Maharaj says it will be a lot of misery at the end of a death when you believe you're dying. But if you sit in the bed and you're sitting and just here, and then not here. Okay, that's it. There's no thought of dying because that appeared is now disappearing. And I think Nisargadatta Maharaj says, as that last breath goes, there will be the observance of this last breath, and then that's it. But it's just the appearance and the disappearance. No birth, no death. Birth was, I exist. I have a sense of existence that has appeared from nothing. And now this sense of existence that appeared from nothing goes back to nothing. No one was born, no one died. It's very, very, like, when you believe you're a body, so many things you believe. When you're formless, there's nothing to believe. There's nothing.
There's really no significance to anything.
In this dream-based body world, no. Other than you can know yourself in a real sense. I mean, you, Kathleen, get to go through the illusory world and then use this body form to know, oh, I'm nothing that appears. And that's the beautiful thing. You could also go through the whole thing and then in the end you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. I really hope there is a heaven or that something happens or what happens to me after death or whatever, but you're not born, so you cannot die. The body labeled Kathleen, like a banana that sits out, it gets old and decays and decomposes, and that's that. It goes back to the five elements. And I won't just say your body, my body, all the bodies. I don't want Kathleen to be like, oh, why am I the banana? But,
I knew that.
okay.
We're all bananas.
Yeah, we're all bananas sitting on the counter with different expiration dates.
Well, somehow there's value in being aware of this. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be talking about it.
I mean, as far as once you understand that you are, like Maharaj says, you live tension-free, fearless, no longer having any of these worries or concerns or, oh my God, what happens if I die? Or, you know, good things, bad things, good thoughts, bad thoughts, depression comes. That's another thing too, because just because you know you're the formlessness, you're holding this five elemental body. And the five elemental body will have disturbance. You may get sick, have a little bit runny nose or a headache or something, but you just know, no, that's happening to the body, not me. So then the mind flow that says, oh, I think you're dying, you better go check WebMD, these things won't happen because you know, oh, this body is having some trouble. Okay, no worries.
That it does seem like, okay, part of what your goal, I guess, and I don't know, just the whole point of existence is to be able to let it go. I mean, like the Dalai Lama says that the whole of life is the preparation for death. And so I think that I mean, you have to realize, I guess you have to tell the truth about how it is that, you know, how you value or what is the purpose of your life. Because if you're on the deathbed and you haven't seen, you know, you never went to Paris or something, there's going to be something that's going to pull you. So it seems like it's all about, you know, so you're not ended up discontent at the last minute.
Exactly. Well, even Jesus on the cross, he talks about, you know, get rid of this, get rid of that. Or how was it? He said, basically, he shows you how to die. Where he's like, okay, he gives the mother, he says, mother, this is your son now. So that's the body attachment of mother-son being removed. And then forgive them so that there's no agitation in the mind of these are very bad folks and, oh, this is so terrible and all these things. And then he says, it is finished. Okay, this body-based existence is now finished.
Right.
It's finished.
Yeah.
Don't try and hold on. Holding on is, and as you just mentioned, if you dive down into the body-based illusory experience, you will see that it's absolutely designed for you to let go of everything. Think about if your identity is connected to your job. Well, you retire.
Yeah.
So if you're totally, completely, I am my job, I am this successful power driver, then you're going to retire. Then what? And you see a lot of the egoistic body-based forms that have this, that are like, what to do in retirement. Many people die very short after retirement because that's their whole existence. But it teaches you, your mom and your dad, who you love so much, who brought you into the world, so-and-so, they die probably before you do. You have to bury them. So you are slowly, silently, and permanently peeling off all the illusory layers anyway, if you flow along with life. And Maharaj has given this mantra so that these illusory layers are peeled off. You don't have to go this entire lifespan to peel off all these illusory layers. You can do it right now.
So preparation for death would be preparation for present, for the present.
Well, again, we're talking about only everything we just spoke about. We took ourselves formlessly, dove down or stepped down into the body-based illusion to explain from the perspective of the body-based illusion, the formless reality. But the formless reality, speaking of all of this, is none of it is happening, so it's not a concern. I never was a body. So this life of this body, I don't know. I mean, I could have clicked and become a mouse, and then I have a mouse life or a cat life or whatever. And then I'm sure I would think that if I was a cat and I had kittens, that there was significance to the having of the kittens. But I'm not body. I'm not any of the bodies. And yet I'm all of the bodies, because there's nothing except that selfless self that you are.
It helps me when I, like you mentioned, I don't know, maybe 2 sessions ago or something, that, about the fella in the subway stepping on your foot.
Yes, yes.
That's like Maharaj stepping on your foot. Like Ranjit would say, for instance, like he does everything. So everything is Brahman, or everything is he.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Like I find that it's been helpful for me just to see that, dealing with the work that I do and so forth, dealing with so many people, there's always things coming at you, so it's just like, rather than, like seeing the work that I do as a way of earning money, it's become more of a way of growing, seeing everything as, or learning to see everything as, basically my selfless self, or self, or whatever you want to call it, like reality. He, for instance, Brahman, it's all just kind of like coming at me. And just knowing that's my own self.
Yes.
So it's like taking the personality out of everything. Like I know that Nisargadatta speaks of the impersonal functioning of the totality. It's like removing the personality out of everything, my own plus everyone else's, kind of, and and then like Ranjit would say, he does everything, but none of it is true.
Yes.
So it's like, in other words, it's this impersonal function of the totality, but nevertheless, it's still nothing. It's not true at all. So I don't know. But anyway, It's just like, and to me, that's the value of, being here in the body, and that part of it, at least, is kind of like using it for that, basically. When a guy steps on your toe, like see the guy as, that's myself stepping on my toe. And,
Yes.
am I going to be someone here that's going to sort of react or whatever, or take the touch of that or not, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an empty boat until there's a you and a them in the boats.
All right.
If there's no you, there's no them either.
Exactly. That's what, and practice I don't exist. And you'll see, because that's the reality. It's not that you're giving up the individuality. The individuality was a concept that has appeared on the totality. And that concept, once removed, there's only totality. Very much different body forms, but only one.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I heard like a squawking in the back. I didn't know if that's how my voice was actually being
No,
heard.
no, it's fine.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
There
good.
is some reverberance.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you see, if I practice I don't exist, then I'm not offended by anyone, because there's no me, there's no you. And that's the truth. Again, we just talked about, if I give up my individuality, but individuality is the illusion. It's very easy to give up illusion. Okay, I don't exist. This is the truth. And then I'm in this experience of myself. The world is myself. There's no separation between me and the world, because I'm not creating it through the illusory identity of an individual. Myself and the world are one. And yet, as it was said, all of it's illusion. But while it's here, myself and the world are one. The world is a projection of my spontaneous presence. It's the seer's projection.
Could you say that the world is a mirror for the divine to see itself?
You could say, all of the world is an illusory projection, as if you're looking in the mirror. What you believe to be true, you create through your experience. So if you believe you're a separate body, then you will see the world through the lens of individuality. Even though it's not true, that'll be the perception that you're perceiving using that body form.
So it's crucial to have the right perspective.
Oh,
'Cause
yes.
otherwise you're creating a lot of suffering, because if you, well, yeah.
Yeah, you're creating an individual that the pain and pleasure principle can apply to, because you're trying, you're struggling, you're going against everything, and it's unnatural, actually, if you think of it like that, because instead of just flowing along and knowing that the entire world is myself and no harm can come to me at all, and I'm just here, rather than, oh, I need to struggle and look, this person, even look at traffic. Somebody pulls out a little bit faster and right away somebody wants to speed up and go because they're offended. Oh, how dare this person get ahead of me? But if there's no me in this driver's seat, then it's empty boats. And I know it's empty boats, and I just enjoy. And I'll notice that you can see this in your own experience when you're driving. If you're in a hurry and you want to get somewhere, constantly you're impressing and you have a really terrible trip. You're very stressed. But if you don't really take the touch, you just drive and people cut off or whatever, and you just keep driving, and you notice, I can have a good commute or a bad commute based on the ideas, beliefs, and concepts I'm having about the commute. If I have no ideas, beliefs, and concepts about the commute, then the commute is a non-existence, a non-experience. If I have a lot of ideas and concepts and beliefs about the commute, I'm involved in it, I have a me in the game, and I don't like the game. I want the game to be this way, it's that way. I don't like that way, I want this way. But if I have no conceptual beliefs and I have no dog in the fight, so to speak, then whether it goes this way or that way, it's my way, because I have no way.
Yeah,
Very
like
simple.
I know that when you have faith that everything is the master or Brahman, then everything is got to be for your good. I mean, if that's the point
Yes.
that you live in life, if that's the way you're seeing it,
Yes.
then everything is for your good. So it's, you kind of
Yes.
like, you get rid of that layer of unhappiness or, disappointment or
Yes.
whatever, the sadness or whatever, frustration, whatever. So,
I guess maybe that's the good that I'm trying to explain, but maybe I'm getting too hung up on it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is that when you stop trying to be an individual, then your mind will stop from pressing that you're an individual, because you'll no longer believe that. And then everything will go without, see, the mind, if you sit there and you say, I don't like something that's the way it's going, then the mind will produce all the different possibilities of how it could go other than the way it's going. And that's all that tension. That's why Maharaj says tension-free life. I'm not here to say, should it go that way or this way? I'm the formlessness and using form. And I really, if it goes this way or it goes that way, it's all not true. So how am I going to get upset on either side? Do I go this way or that way? I don't know. I don't exist. And when I see the body going one way, if it doesn't work out so good, oh, okay, this is not so good, maybe this way. But no, like, oh my God, I should have gone that way. No. And mind, the mind is almost like, due to your ideas and beliefs and concepts, you believe in certain thoughts, and these thoughts create more thoughts. If I believe I'm a body and I believe that I want it this way, then this mind will impress, number one, it's not going my way, and number two, project all the thoughts of how I believe it should be going, and I start kind of participating in this fantasy, illusory world of how it should be, instead of accepting as it is, because there's no one here to say anything different.
you're kind of like superimposing your own reality on the totality, which is a useless proposition.
Exactly. Especially because it's an illusory layer that has no separate autonomy. You can't make anything happen at all. Think about a dream character. Can a dream character actually influence anything? That's why Nisargadatta Maharaj says there's so many avatars that have come and gone. Have they influenced consciousness at all? No. No. Because this is the dynamic principle once you kind of step down into a body form and you're in the 5 elemental world with all the different energies moving about, and it's all untrue. It has no basis in reality at all.
So it's all for your good, but nevertheless, it's all still untrue.
Exactly.
All the fuss is about. What is all the fuss about?
Nothing.
Much ado about nothing. I think I'm
Exactly.
familiar.
Yep, Shakespeare was right.
Yes. Yes.
Well, on that note, John, it happens to be 20 minutes after the hour.
Okay, good, good.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Good
everyone.
night, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Jai Guru John. Jai Guru.
Guru.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, John.